Hello, welcome to the February 2016 Kula Yoga Shala Teacher Feature and / Healing Arts Center Practitioner Interview. This month we are sitting down with Jessica Raimondi, who is new to Jupiter and living in Florida. She just moved here recently from West Hollywood, which I've just learned is like another way of saying LA, but feel kind of cooler when you say it. And she teaches organic vinyasa at Kula on Thursdays at 1 p.m. And also starting this month is going to begin offering spiritual coaching sessions with people. So we're here to learn a little bit more about Jessica and both of those practices. So welcome.
Cool. Thank you.
First off,
Yes.
how goes the transition to Florida from California?
It's honestly been amazing. I feel like I got that kind of bug that, my intuition was speaking really loudly to me about a year ago to make the move. And it's just funny because I think when we really align ourselves with that intuition and the energy of the universe, it really, it just opens up like so many opportunities, So although the transition hasn't been without hiccups, of course, certain things, it's been smooth in a lot of ways because this was kind of the right move for me, and I knew that. So it's been awesome, just kind of aligning myself with that.
I love hearing you say that, and one of the things that just popped in my head was just superimposing that over how you go about teaching yoga. And a lot of times we talk about how the practice informs our life. But as I was listening to you, and being that this is, from the perspective of teaching yoga, I was wondering if, obviously you've been teaching for a bit, but how this specific transition, since yoga is full of transitions, especially vinyasa, how the transition informed by your intuition influences the way you teach, and especially being that it's an organic vinyasa practice, it's not scripted, isn't being the same sequence week to week to week.
No.
The ability to really listen and tune in, and how that could maybe just inspire your teaching.
Absolutely. Well, I'm the type of teacher who brings in my own experience into my classes and into the work that I do outside of the actual classroom too. And so really listening to my intuition, I am somebody who does have an idea of where my class is going to go. It's just how I was taught. Sequencing is very important to me.
But it's different week to week? Yeah.
Absolutely, but we can work on certain things from month to month, or week to week. So,
okay, cool.
But my intuition has to pop in, and really I have to listen to that when I step into the classroom because I'm teaching people. I'm not teaching yoga. So, even though I'm teaching yoga to those people, so if the crowd in my class is at a certain energy level and what I have planned is not the right fit for that day, I have to adjust, and I think then I let my everything I've learned, all of my intuition just comes forward and I guide the class from there. So it's a mix. It's a mix of planning and it's a mix of just letting go and
very
being
cool.
in the moment. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite thing about teaching yoga?
Wow, that's a good question. I would say my favorite thing about teaching yoga is the connection that I can have with my class, with my students, and that simultaneous energy that can just evolve from the beginning to the middle and to the end. And when I'm watching them in Shavasana, and just feeling that completion and feeling each and every one of their energies, and then bringing them back and closing the practice. It's just something about the collective energy and the interconnectedness of not only I know they're feeling it with each other, but with me to them. And I think it's so different in each class, and I love that. I love connecting with people in that way.
What's your biggest challenge as a teacher?
That's a really excellent question too.
Just making them up on the fly.
Yeah, you're doing great. My biggest challenge as a teacher is letting my ego get in the way. I'm not the teacher who can throw my legs over my head and get into all these crazy weird poses. That's just not, my body's limited in certain ways. And, when I have students that are more advanced than I am, I can kind of get into my own head and let my ego, as it does with everybody, your ego wants to step in and separate you. But the truth is, I don't need to do all that to be a good teacher, And so my biggest challenge is, just really just accepting where I'm at sometimes, and putting my ego in check. I think that's pretty common with teachers too.
Most definitely. Yeah. I think it's common for just humans.
Human beings, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, that really gets to the heart of, that's being, our life's work as humans to, live in the awakened state. And I know that you do a lot of work also beyond the mat, so I was hoping you could take a few minutes also to just discuss your spiritual coaching, and for people that are listening, just to give them a sense of if it's something they may wish to pursue with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely, like I was saying earlier, it's an easy marriage between, being a teacher in the rooms on the mats and then taking that into a one-on-one session. But really quick thing to note is that I've done this work. So I've done the work. I will and always will be a student of not only yoga, but of this spiritual path that I'm on. So I get to now take what I've learned, with my master's degree in spiritual psychology, with my coaching certificates from some of my modern day gurus. I get to take that plus my own experience and share it with somebody. Spiritual coaching is a lot like what you would hear with life coaching, where I'm helping people, maybe in specific areas of their life attain certain goals. But it's spiritual in the fact that I'm interested in your soul and in what your soul really wants to say and what it has to learn. And ultimately, it's just about helping you to get back to that true connection with your authentic self and live through there and have that be expressed in everything you do in your life, whether it's relationships, your job, anything, really living your truth. And I think it's a good marriage between yoga because, in yoga in the sutras, they talk about some scars and patterns and kind of imprints that are laden within us that have to do with the past, and really they have no room in the present anymore. And so I love the work that I do in helping people put those to rest, and really, through philosophies of yoga and just through, other modalities that I'm using, really just help you to find you, and be that light.
I love that, and I agree. It's for some of us, we're really stuck in the past. And another thing that I tend to see is people, thinking of enlightenment as this kind of future term. It's always happening later. And so the yoga practices really, in a sense, deliver us into this clear present moment awareness. I'd imagine working with a coach from the perspective of the soul's modality of thinking rather than the intellect or the ego. Not only are we working, with energies from a more conscious perspective, but we're able to really unearth what it is we really do want for our lives from the deepest sense.
From that place, and that's the place that I'm interested in, and we all can get there. Fear has driven a lot of our lives, and those old patterns, old behaviors, old ways of thinking. They're survival skills, and we all have them, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, So I'm just excited to work with this community. I'm so happy to be a part of this community. Thank you, Scott, for so much for having me.
A welcome addition, and it's just perfect because I think the consciousness of the community in general is a lot of people wanting to extend the recognitions that they're opening to on the mat more fully into their lives, and it's nice to have that be, nourished and nurtured along by somebody. So
thank you.
It's really perfect timing.
Great, and just that's Svadhyaya, self-study on and off the mat. So, thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Namaste.
Namaste.